Manchester United to face Villarreal in Europa League finals. Details of these and more after this break. I am Charles, Upper Room. Now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has called on Nigerians to participate in the ongoing synchronization of the national identification number with SIM cards across the country. He said it will provide a digital framework for improving security and strengthening the economy. The Nigerian leader stated this at the launch of the National Policy for the Promotion of Indigenous Content in Nigerian telecom sector and revised National Identity Policy for SIM card registration in Abuja. He said the NIN will cover one of the weaknesses in the security structure. President Buhari noted that proper identification of all Nigerians and legal residents in the country and the ability to conveniently access a database will provide an impetus for more effective planning and security oversight. According to him, the first national SIM policy was launched in February 2020, and the revised policies were in full alignment with the objectives of the administration in the areas of economic development, security, and anti-corruption. Elsewhere, the federal government on Thursday said about 121 local government areas spread across 28 states of the federation will likely experience heavy flooding in 2021. Minister for Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, who announced this at the 2021 Annual Flood Outlook, said another 302 local government areas across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory will likely experience moderate flooding. Adamu, who said there will be heavy coastal flooding in Rivers, Cross River, Bayelsa, Delta, Lagos, and Ondo states, stressed the need for concerted efforts to mitigate the impact of the expected flood. He revealed that Nigerians will be contending with the two threats of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and impending floods as predicted in the Annual Flood Outlook. According to him, so far, the flood levels will be higher than in previous years, but will not attain the levels of the 2012 devastating floods. He said the states connecting to rivers Niger and Benue are without doubt going to experience flooding. The minister said the states including Kano, Jigawa, Bauchi, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Ebonyi, Imo, Delta, Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Kogi, Bayelsa, Anambra, Taraba, Nasarawa, Benue, Gombe, Kaduna, Niger, Kwara, the FCT, Zamfara, Kebbi, and Sokoto states. The Senate on Thursday held a crucial closed-door security meeting with service chiefs in an executive session. The meeting, which was scheduled to hold on Tuesday, was postponed following the National Security Council meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The closed session, which lasted for about 4 hours, enabled the security chiefs to exchange ideas with senators. Before the Senate entered into the closed-door session, the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, commended the members of the armed forces for safeguarding the country and giving their lives in the process. He said the parliament takes the security situation in the country seriously and admitted that the armed forces had not achieved its best in fighting insecurity, which according to him is largely because of inadequate resources.
This Senate, or even the entire National Assembly, is and will remain a partner in progress with you. On behalf of my colleagues, I want to commend our armed forces and other security agencies for fighting the myriad of security challenges across the country. In the process, some have given up their lives, others are maimed. We appreciate what you are doing because we know that you are doing your best with what you have at hand. And trust us with what you think will be helpful to us as a parliament to help the cause of the armed forces and other security agencies to perform better, because you haven't achieved the optimum, and I can attribute that to inadequate resources.
The Senate had summoned the service chiefs to brief them in an executive session on efforts being made to address the growing insecurity across the country. Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, and Acting Inspector General of Police, IGP Alkali Baba Usman, attended the session. One Aminat Jimo and many others have been arrested by the operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, for allegedly impersonating the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. It was learned that the Lagos office of the department made the arrests while investigating the forging of the official letterhead and signature of the Speaker by the suspect, who used same to allegedly defraud unsuspecting individuals and organizations. According to the secret police, one of the suspects, identified as Olalekan Oladeimbo Adenuga, had on one occasion introduced one lady, Aminat Oluwabukola Jimo, to Carverton helicopters at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. In the forged letter, Adenuga, fraudulently acting as the Speaker of the House of Representatives, recommended Jimo to Carverton for employment. The letter, received by Carverton helicopters on April the 20th, 2021, was written on the 15th and addressed to the Managing Director of the airline. Inquiries showed that the Speaker's office in the National Assembly had received several complaints about unknown persons who wrote to agencies and organizations claiming to be the Speaker, either of his aides, and making requests from different organizations. Following the complaints, the Speaker's office wrote a letter dated April 22nd requesting DSS to initiate an investigation. Staying with security issues, 2 police officers were killed on Wednesday during an attack on Obosi Police Station, Idemili North Local Government Area of Anambra State. They also razed the station and 2 operational vehicles. Police spokesperson in the state, Ikenga Tochukwu, confirmed that the officers died during a gun duel with the attackers. He added that the Commissioner of Police in the state, Chris Owolabi, has detailed the police crack team led by the Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of operations to identify and apprehend the yet-to-be-identified gunmen. He added that the crack team had visited the scene and conducted an on-the-spot assessment of the incident. An investigation has commenced in identifying the perpetrators of the crime. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Port Harcourt Zonal Office, has arrested the leader of a syndicate involved in the buying and selling of human organs for trafficking to foreigners. The leader, identified as Ukeje John Emeka, was arrested on the 16th of April 2021 at Rumukbarali, Uzuoba, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. According to a statement on the Commission's website, preliminary investigations by the EFCC show that the suspect is leading a syndicate of fraudsters falsely representing themselves as medical doctors with a human organ bank, particularly kidneys for sale and purchase. The Commission added that it is on the trail of the other members of the syndicate within and outside Nigeria. It added the suspect was arrested by operatives of the Commission based on established intelligence on the suspicious fraudulent internet dealings. The Managing Director of the Edo State Traffic Control and Management Agency, ESMA, Dennis Oloregbe, has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Medical Director of the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Benin, on one-way traffic offense in Benin Metropolis. The memorandum stipulates that whoever is caught violating the one-way traffic rule will be referred to the psychiatric hospital for mental evaluation. Dennis Oloregbe said when apprehended, drivers will pay all the medical expenses incurred during the course of treatment at the Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Uselu. He said these new developments will reduce the habit of drivers plying one way in Benin Metropolis. The National Examinations Council, NECO, has released the results of the 2020 Senior School Certificate Examination for external candidates. This was announced at the Council's headquarters in Minna on Thursday. The Registrar and Chief Executive, Godfrey Obioma, said 41,459 candidates registered for the examination, out of which 39,503 actually sat. Obioma explained that 26,277 candidates obtained 5 credits and above, including English language and mathematics, while 34,014 candidates also obtained 5 credits and above, irrespective of English language and mathematics. The registrar said appropriate standards and excellence were maintained right from the planning stage to the release of results. He also disclosed that 6,465 cases of examination malpractice were recorded in the 2020 SSCE external, as against 17,004 cases in 2019. Coming up in a moment on our business news, House of Reps summons NNPC, CBN and others over illicit financial flows. Do stay with us, please. You're still on to News Dawn on 92.7 KUFM Benin City. And on business, the House of Representatives has resolved to invite various departments and agencies of the federal government over illicit financial flows in Nigeria to review Nigeria's laws and policies against the economic challenge. At the plenary on Thursday, the House specifically mandated its committees on finance, anti-corruption, financial crimes, banking and currency, and insurance and actuarial matters to investigate the phenomenon of illicit financial flows and appraise the federal government's current policy framework to curb the continuous loss of Nigeria's revenues to illicit financial flows. The House also mandated the committees to appraise the Federal Inland Revenue Service's current framework for identifying, tracing, preventing, and sanctioning cross-border tax evasion. The committees are to invite the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, and heads of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Central Bank of Nigeria, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, Nigerian Export-Import Bank, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, and any other relevant institutions. They are to address the committees on the continuous loss of government revenues to illicit financial flows and present reports on the measures to curb revenue losses. These resolutions followed the unanimous adoption of a motion moved by Chairman of the House Committee on Local Content, Ochiglego Idagbo. And finally, on business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says it has extended its Naira for Dollar scheme until further notice. The Apex Bank disclosed this in a circular signed by Director, Trade and Exchange Department, CBN, Saleh Jibrin. The scheme, which was originally scheduled to end on 8th of May 2021, will now continue until further notice. The CBN introduced the Naira for Dollar scheme as an incentive for senders and recipients of international money transfers to sustain the encouraging increase in inflows of diaspora remittances into the country. This incentive is to be paid to recipients whether they choose to collect the dollar as cash across the counter in the bank or transfer same into their domiciliary account. According to the circular, in effect, a typical recipient of diaspora remittances will, at the point of collection, receive not only the dollar sent from abroad, but also the additional 5 Naira per dollar received. And that's it on business. Over now to sports, where Manchester United are to face Villarreal in the Europa League final. Stay with us, please. Manchester United have qualified for UEFA Europa League final despite a 3-2 defeat to Italian side AS Roma on Thursday night in Rome, but advanced 8-5 on aggregate. Edinson Cavani opened the scoring with a fabulous first-half effort, then found the net with a fine header from Bruno Fernandes' excellent fluted pass in the second half. In between, Roma briefly threatened the comeback when former Manchester City forward Edin Dzeko scored his 9th goal against United before Brian Cristante finished smartly with a shot on the turn. The Italians had the final word when Nikola Zalewski's low drive went in through goalkeeper David De Gea's legs after taking a deflection off Alex Telles. The victory ends a run of 4 semi-final defeats for United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and sets up a meeting with Villarreal, who knocked out Arsenal in Gdansk on the 26th of May. The Yellow Submarines held Arsenal to a goalless draw at Emirates and progressed 2-1 on aggregate. And finally on sports, Japan's Naomi Osaka has been named Sportswoman of the Year at the Laureus World Sports Awards, with fellow tennis player Rafael Nadal the men's winner. Osaka won the US Open in 2020, while Spaniard Nadal equaled Roger Federer's record of 20 Grand Slam men's titles by winning last year's French Open. German champions Bayern Munich, who won last season's UEFA Champions League, were named Football Team of the Year. Tennis legend Billie Jean King received the Lifetime Achievement Award. Britain, Lewis Hamilton claimed the inaugural Athlete Advocate Award, which has been brought in to acknowledge the wider impact on society made by athletes. During the 2020 Formula One season, Hamilton took a knee on the grid and wore anti-racism slogans as he won the record-equaling 7th driver's title, while his Mercedes team also adopted a black livery for the campaign in a stand against discrimination. Liverpool and Egypt striker Mohamed Salah won the Sporting Inspiration Award for his unique contribution over many years to those in need and for those less fortunate. And that's it in sports, and with that sports story, we come to the end of our package this morning. But before we leave, A quick recap of the headlines. President Buhari urges Nigerians to participate in NIN SIM linkage. Federal government gives notice to heavy flooding in Lagos, Rivers, Delta, and Kano states. NECO releases 2020 SSCE results. Do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. Do not forget you can listen to us anywhere in the world by visiting our website at www.kufm.net, or you can download our mobile app from the Google Play Store. We are also live on YouTube at KUFM Nigeria. KUFM News Dawn was produced by Nosahai Wadiai. I am Charles Oporum saying thanks for listening and good morning.
KUFM. KUFM 92.7. Turn on excitement.
Oh yes, Nasco quality cornflakes are so full of nourishing goodness because they are whole-flaked cornflakes. Whole-flaked cornflakes are made by a natural flaking process that retains all the natural goodness of the whole corn for whole nutrition, whole taste, and whole crunchiness for the whole family. So next time you're eating cornflakes, make sure it's whole-flaked Nasco cornflakes. Nasco cornflakes, nourishing goodness anytime.